covering today? Well, Sven is going to be covering some calendar functions, how to bring in calendar from one campaign to another. Um, then we're going to be looking at some encounters and a map in a pre-made adventure. We're going to see if it fits what we're doing in this campaign. We're working with our group. Our people are two level 9s, a level 9 and a level 8 with their two sidekicks of their corresponding levels as well. So you'll notice right away that, hey, this is not only Fantasy Grounds. What is up with that? Well, I use Notepad++ for free, by the way, it's a free software for most of my copying and pasting. So I convert PDFs for Fantasy Grounds, and part of Rob Tui's team. I'm also part of the Smiteworks team. And the easiest way I found to do large blocks of text is to copy, paste it into Notepad++, Control J, which auto aligns everything, and then slap it into Fantasy Grounds. And I even have a nice thing about ++ is I have a whole little macro set up to where it pastes what's copied. I copy it into from the PDF, for example, the whole group of text, and then my macro pastes it, selects it, auto corrects it, auto justifies it, and then copies it again, all with one click, because it's Notepad++. You can do those type of macros, so it's pretty cool. And then I just have to click back into Fantasy Grounds and paste it. Anywho, after saying all of that, what we're doing is calendars. So I took the calendars from this campaign. What had happened was character named Luthien was a druid. She was with this group. They went and rescued a druid friend of hers from a terrible situation. And then after they separated, and Luthien went on her own way. So I copied the calendar up to where they had back a full month, was about a week's worth of stuff from when they were still together. So now I'm putting it in here. So what I find the best practice, easiest practice, is to, when you open up your calendars up here, and if you don't have that set up, you go to your library, go to your modules, type in calendar, and right here, search by name, type in calendar, open it, and then when you open up your calendar over here, which is right underneath the combat tracker, it'll then ask you, there's a bunch to choose from, everything from the traditional Julian calendar to this one right here is Ravenloft, because it's just first moon, second moon, all the way through 12 moons. There's Faerun, Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, Starfinder, so there's lots of different types of calendars. Just double click on it, the one you want. It'll open up. If you don't like it, you can then right click on it and say reset calendar. Pick the year. And the nice thing about it is you can then at any time click this little chat bubble and it puts the date and the time for your players. So makes it really convenient. I do it to keep track of what's going on. Right now I'm doing a campaign where they've been captured. They were captured one night and then they traveled. They were drugged and taken to a location. They have no idea how much time has passed. They are underground, so they cannot see the sun. So that at any given time, they don't know what day it is, what time it is, and they have no way of figuring that out. But as the dungeon master, I need to know what's going on, and I need to keep track of all these things that are happening. So I use the calendar. Evening, Svenster. Hello, Atomic. Welcome, welcome. I enjoyed your start of the week. I was a little sad you didn't do any Gems of War, but that's okay. I don't want to be using all my points to make you play my favorite games, but enjoyed a little Smite action and that um, Patronox, I believe it was called. Patronix, something like that. A weird little thing with a lot of driving for no apparent reason in that game. And then finished it off with a little, I don't even know what that was called, where you were running around killing things. Gungeon. A little bit of Gungeon. So, good stuff from Atomic Hero Squad to start the week. If you guys are early risers, definitely check him out. It's a good way to start your day. Nice, friendly guy. It's Atomic_Hero Squad from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time every morning. Weekday morning, I should say. So, now that you've got your calendar, what I did was I went through my calendar from my other campaign uh, and copied and pasted all the calendar entries. So now I have from the 1st through the 11th. So I'm just going to open them up, double click it each pay day to open up the All right, so it looks like I did some of this already, but it's okay. I'm going to double check it, make sure. To the 11th. So now that I've opened them all up, I now can just throw everything in there and close them as I need to. So, boom. Here's the 11th. I just highlight everything on that day. I presume everybody knows Control C, Control V, but there you go. I use military time and it tells them everything that happens on the 11th. And then we just do the same thing for each day. All right, we already had the 9th. We already have the 8th. 1, 6:30, 7:30. Yep, we already have the 7th. Awesome. So we're done with the 6th as well. So that brings us to the 5th. So just like that, you're able to fill in the calendar. And so what this does is allows, because I could fill things in the GM section as well. And although it probably goes without saying, I'm going to say it anyway. The players can read anything in the player section. They cannot read anything in the GM section. So that's why in my other campaign, my GM section is full of stuff. All these things that you see here, dates and times, are all filled in, but the player section is empty because I don't want my players knowing what day it is, what time it is, stuff like that. The players cannot interact with, they cannot add to the calendar. but they can read it. So there you go. Simple as that. I now have a calendar for the last month of what's going on. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and catch up with what's happening now. So this is when she left. I'm going to say she traveled Luthien and Ringen. Head northeast toward Fort, was it Morning Lord? See how well I remember my geography. It is Fort Morning Lord right there. That's where they heard the bad guy who captured her druid friend was last seen, or was supposed to be heading to. As they get ready to bed down for the night. The Mithril Dragon came down and invited her to head toward the Wood of Sharp Teeth, baby. That's what happened on the 12th, and then the 13th is when they meet up. Make this a little bit smaller. There we go, that's the party. Yeah, so they were just outside the Wood of Sharp Teeth over here when it would have been like 2 days. So she travels. Meanwhile, the other characters are Aroden and Farandu. Aroden is a ranger. Farandu is a Gabi Gabi. What type of he's a forest rider, isn't he? So we're gonna check really quick. I don't want to spend a lot. He's a ranger. Yeah, he is a Horizon Walker. All right, so I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time. I've been making. If you watched my last video, you saw I've been making party photos, group photos of each party, especially for my streams. Now I don't stream this one, but it's a cool little thing to have. So I'm gonna check real quick like, and let's see if what kind of images it has. See if I can find the image he chose for the Horizon Walker in this list in the images real quick. That's pretty cool. I like that. Not spending a whole lot of time because I know what I'm looking for. And I'm not seeing it. So let's go ahead and do two things. Let's switch search engines. And we'll change search criteria to just a plain half-elf ranger. So what we're looking for is this guy here. Because I would like to find the full body art of that guy. Alright, so let's try male Horizon Walker. That one's not bad. It's actually pretty close. I may check Gloomstalker as well and see, because that might be a Gloomstalker that he picked. All right. Yes, and it's interesting. Some of things like what in the world, what, why? Can't go wrong with Chuck Norris. There you go, Marbanya. Absolutely. Walker, Texas Ranger. Let's go with Gloomstalker, baby. Seeing as how Gloom doesn't move, I'm not sure how you can stalk it, but hey, who am I? So once again, this is what we're looking for. See if I can find what my player, the actual art my player picked. And if I can't, I think I'm going to go back to the one I just had. Should have saved it, but I didn't think about it. This is pretty darn close. Heck, what did I do? There we go. One extreme to the other. Oh, this is an Assassin's Creed dude, huh? There we go. That's his full version. Save the image. Right now, I'm just going to throw it in downloads because I don't know which one I'm going to use. So we will go with Ranger. Download. Boom. Close. Like I said, I would prefer to find the one he picked. Whenever you're in Texas, look behind you. There you go. That's right, Atomic Hero Squad. Alright, well, I am not finding the one he picked. Oh, that's a pretty good real life shot, though. Good job, whoever did that. Okay, and then the last thing I want is 5E companion, because I believe the one I have is an actual companion. from the book. Okay, you would think the images would be of the actual companions from the book. Let's see, he's from what? Let's go with Tasha's Cauldron of Every Stuff. Cat Unicorn. I don't see a horn on this. I don't know what this has to do with companions. Okay. Okay, well, I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail because he's a goblin. Let me try one other thing. Maybe it shouldn't be capital. Maybe it shouldn't be plural. Green Goblin, there he is. Okay, moving on. We weren't able to find what I wanted to find, so we're just gonna forget about it. So they're gonna have a fight with a shadow dragon, which is basically a red dragon that has been succumbed to the shadow plane. So it's got what I did is was on my last D&D video you saw where we took a red dragon and a shadow dragon template and sort of merged the two and made it a red shadow dragon. Excuse me, juvenile red shadow dragon. So they're going to be fighting that in this map, which is one I made using Fantasy Grounds stuff. This is a giant cleft in the ground that they have been to before, at least Luthien has. And that's where the dragon is waiting them. So we want to catch up and see what they're doing. So getting back to our calendar. So on the 13th, she was heading south. At the same time, the reason I brought this up in the first place was to find the names Eridan and Ferundu. And his sidekick. I keep saying companion. That's why, because I'm a silly person. I was looking for the wrong thing. 5e sidekicks. Just take real quick. Here's one picture group. Here's the other one. Okay, so I was wrong. He is not from the sidekicks. I thought he was. I was wrong. Okay. All right. Anyway, so it's and a sidekick, Ferundu. Leave. Haskell. Head toward the wood. Up sharp. Teeth. That's 13th, so we'll say on the 14th, they're traveling. And then the 15th is when they get there. Eridan and Frondu. That leads to an ancient underground temple. Luthien arrives at the temple. All right, so they get there. They got there at, let's say 10 o'clock. Luthien got there about 15, 20 minutes later, so we'll say 10:20. They team up and clear out the temple, driving away, and Oni, who had been summoning elemental creatures, so they did take a short rest. Takes about half an hour, so at 10:50, 11:50. Leave the temple, searching for the fleeing Oni. I don't remember if they found it the same day or if it was next day. I'm going to say it was the same night at, let's see, about 3 hours later. And then they decide to head toward the Grass Enclave, which is a group of druids. Grasslands Enclave, which, if you check here, is here in the green fields. So that was the 15th. The 16th. Traveling toward Meadowcrest. 17th. As a camp. As they slept. herd of auroch. And if you don't know what an auroch is, Dan Dezel, how the heck are you? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you. Let's take a look at the aurochs. So a herd of these things. So these are sort of like bison on steroids with bigger horns. And a herd of them just sort of moved through where they were camping. So let's see, I'm just going to say a herd of auroch moved through their campsite. I'll just put the time, just makes it simpler. So it was about 22:30, 10:30 at night. Now it is the 18th. You see the herd, and by they I mean the party, sees the herd of auroch off in the distance. And then they arrived. Scouting party of Aarakocra. What's an Aarakocra, Sven? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. Aarakocra are bird people. And they're heading toward a place called Meadow Nest, where a huge group of these bird people live. So a scouting party of the Aarakocra. Intercepts the group and tells them how to get to Meadow Nest. And it's about an hour later. They spend the night in Meadow Nest. Now we are caught up almost. The 19th, they leave at 700, just at 7 in the morning. Head toward the grasslands. Enclave. And I'm going to say it's right at sunset, 18:30. They reach the scar. And that is where we are right now. So I need to change my time. Today is the 19th. So we click on this and we go set selected date as the current date. And we move this up to hold control and use your mouse wheel. I'm going to take it all the way up to 6. Shift over here to the hour, 6:30 p.m. So now when we start, I can just go boof, boof. That puts it in the chat window for them. I'm also going to open up the message of the day. And the message of the day is something that pops up whenever the player logs in. So I had them, well, I did talk about where they were staying in ruins and fought these. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to put that in here. So this would have been the first day out, the 16th. Traveling toward Meadow Nest. Yeah, we'll say the 16th is when they find this just before stopping for the night. Well, again, I'm just going to put 1845. They come upon ruins infested with were-rats. What is a were-rat, you ask? It's like a werewolf, but it's a were-rat. See? This thing is an ogre were-rat. These are all the different types of were-rats that they fought. Yep, yep, yep. All right, so we can get rid of all this. Delete. So it says, having destroyed the crystals powering the planar gate, the group is heading for the Grass Enclave. Starts to rain as they bed down for the night. So for the message of the day, a herd of Auroch, if I can spell, disrupted the party's sleep. The next day they arrive at Meadow Nest after meeting a scouting party. And what I can do is I can just take this, slap this here. So this is 217. 218, I believe. Let me make sure I'm correct. Yep. Eridan and Luthien arrive with their sidekicks at the Scar. And because I don't want to make it seem weird, I'm just going to change this to 30. We'll add 1 more minute to the day. And then I'm going to add the map of the scar right here. So it's just a little recap of what's going on when they log in. That'll pop up in the middle of their screen, reminds them of what's going on and where they are, what's going on, what's happening. And they're like, oh yeah, I remember, I recollect. And now they can also look at the calendar because everything is updated for them. All right, so the last thing I wanted to do is take a look at the Jaded Bear storyline that we're doing. I have a map this is the original map. So if you were with us last time, this is the original map here. And then what I did was I took and I colored it in a little bit, made some changes to it. Added grass and stuff. I need to get a token. Here you go. I like this one a lot. We're going to make this we're going to put this onto the map right here. Actually, Control Z. Let's go to our locked. Here it is. Go to our layers, select it, and then shrink it down. So this is the captive. And I'm going to turn it just because. Hold down Control, and then you can click and move it a little bit. So it's not perfect. Breaks fourth wall a little bit, but close enough. And when they can then zoom in and see. So we've got all this other stuff. All right, so that reminds me here. So let's take a look at the encounters. Perfect. Everything is all set up and ready for them to go when they get there. Cool, cool, cool. See, and I added the tracks here. All using, this is what the original looked like. This is all using the Fantasy Grounds stuff that assets within Fantasy Grounds. I made all those. Didn't have to go to Photoshop. Didn't have to do any of that stuff. Just used Fantasy Grounds Unity to add color to all this. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to call it tonight. I was running a little bit late today, trying to get my stream uploaded for today. I'll be back tomorrow doing similar things, but with a different campaign. So if you like this type of stuff, tomorrow morning, if you're around at 10:30, come stop in, say hi, ask me some questions. Like, subscribe. Don't forget, check out Atomic Hero Squad. It's Atomic_Hero Squad, all one word. Marbanya Also has some really cool D&D stuff on his stream. That's Marbanya, Marbanya. And then you've got Dan Dazzle, Dan_Dazzle, does lots of different games. He's more throughout the day um, type of guy. Uh, Lots of fun, humorous guy, Mr. Dan Dazzle. Like, subscribe, all that fancy stuff. Check out the other things on YouTube. If you have questions, comment, and I'll be glad to answer them. But whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.